Icon Audio Arts.
Renaissance Man, Kris Kristofferson, Heroes of the Sixties, The Love and Peace Era. Written by Geoffrey Giuliano. Narrated by Kris Kristofferson. Copyright 2020, Icon Audio Arts.
If you had the chance to communicate one general idea to the American public, what would it be?
I guess it would be understanding and communication between the different age brackets, which is no such thing about age brackets anyway, not in my mind, because a person is not actually old in numbers of years, but how many miles he's traveled, how he keeps his mind active and creative. And I guess that would be one general idea. There's millions of them, though. Can go on.
Okay, fine. Most people won't even answer that one. Don't feel bad. Number 2, when you're before a large audience and start to play, how do you feel inside? What sensations do you feel, if any?
Well, I really feel like I really feel like turning people on, quite naturally, on some kind of, at least entertainment, without being false about it, without being a superficial clown or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. And like if they don't respond, well then I'll just play it for myself, and for the ones that will listen, if they do respond, well then this gives me more energy to work out, That's another way of communication and trying to make harmony amongst the people enjoying what we're trying to get across, Harmony is part of the first one too, anyway.
Okay. If you are not getting the desired response from an audience when you're on stage, what do? What would be your reaction to such a situation if this ever happened? Now, I've never seen it happen to you, so I don't know. There may have been times when you felt you weren't getting the desired response.
Yeah. Well, I have an imagination, and I feel that maybe they're not, they might not be ready for that particular thing there. They might be coming to the concert as critics, instead of as people, wanting to get into some entertainment, and then from then on they could build it more. But like if there's no response at all, it doesn't bother me too much at all. It just makes me play a little more music, See, that's just the way I think. I think in no negative terms at all, because it takes up a whole lot of space in your mind, And some people only use 1/10 of their brain capacity anyway. And so, there's so much more room to think other good ways, and try to turn them on regardless. It's just like a hospital. When a patient might be kicking, he doesn't want an operation, and he knows good and well, it might be good for him on the long run. But he's scared, and he's kicking around in the bed, and the nurses are trying to strap him down. Well, I'm the nurses, trying to get him together and trying to prove to him that this is right.
What is your own personal philosophy of music? What effect do you want it to have on your audience?
Well, let's see. Personal philosophy. Well, my personal one is that's part of my life. It's just a part of me, music itself. And the effect I like to have for it on the audience is maybe in a hypnotic state, if not an awakening state, So therefore, that's why we don't preach necessarily violence unless it's a certain incidents in a song. It should have some kind of solution, at the end of a song, every song that we give out to people, because it's almost all philosophy. Our music is, most of it is, in a very hazy form, because it's still progressing. It's just like a little baby, and it hasn't even reached the stage that I call for it to walk by itself.
Okay. In your opinion, what is the best possible or desirable situation to bring this response about? These are very leading questions, I must tell you.
Well, sometimes when there's a lot of riots and so forth, that's still going to happen in the States, and anywhere else for that matter. So therefore, when in the hottest parts of the country, they should allow these groups to play in an outdoor way. I know that sounds suicidal, but it's not at all. Matter of fact, it's the best way to do anything. Is to bring only special groups, though, certain groups, because there's a lot of groups that are trying to.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?